Hello, good day, everyone. Now we will discuss how and when to appropriately use grammatical signals in writing different patterns of idea development. Last time we already talked about the different grammatical signals and the different patterns of idea development. Now we combine those two topics that we already discussed to appropriately write or use grammatical signals in writing different patterns of idea development. Okay, let's first discuss about the narration pattern. How to use this pattern. Use signals to indicate the order in which events happen. Arrange the signals in the logical sequence of the narrative. So basically, when we tell a story, we have to arrange the sequence of events. It can't be the beginning of the story, what's in the last sentence and the last part. So it should be in a chronological order and in a logical sequence. So when to use these patterns? When describing a sequence of events or telling a story. So take note, we narrate because we want to tell a story. And here are the grammatical signals used, which are first, next, then, afterward, later, finally, before, and etc. So these words signals what happened first and then what happened next. Example, first I made breakfast, then I went for a walk. So the first indicates what happened in the beginning, then indicates what happened next. So that's how and when to use the narration pattern. Okay, next we have the cause and effect. How to use this pattern. So we use signals to show relationship where one event leads to another. So earlier we used it to narrate, to tell a story, but here we use this pattern to show relationship of one event that leads to another. So place the signal between the cause and the effect for clarity. So in using this pattern, we have to know where to place the signals to indicate which is the cause and which is the effect. So when to use this pattern? So when we want to explain why something happened or what resulted from an event, we use the cause and effect pattern. So take note that when writing the cause and effect pattern, we must use the appropriate grammatical signals like because, therefore, so, as a result, and etc. to let the readers understand easily and um, mm, highlight what's the cause and the effect. Example, the team practiced hard. So that is the cause. Therefore, that's a grammatical signal that signals the relationship between the cause and the effect, which is they won the competition. So that's cause and effect pattern. Next, we discuss comparison and contrast. So how to use this pattern. So use signals to either highlight similarities and show differences between two ideas. Place comparison signals to show how two things are alike and contrast signals to show differences. So basically, we use this pattern to show different ideas when you want to compare and contrast different thoughts. So we also use grammatical signals similarly, likewise, in contrast, and etc. So, example, we have cats are independent. This is the first thought, first idea. Whereas, this is the grammatical signal that signals the the similarities or the differences between cats and dogs. The dogs are more social. So it divides or it separates the two ideas. The whereas here divides the first idea and then the second idea, and it signals a contrast. Okay, that's how and when to use comparison and contrast. Okay, last we have the problem and solution pattern. So how to use this? use signals to introduce a problem and provide a solution. Earlier, we used the signals to indicate the cause and the effect. Here, we introduce the problem and then we provide a solution. Signals should clearly separate the problem from the response. So, when to use this pattern? When we want to discuss a challenge or issue and offering a resolution or remedy. Example, you want to highlight a certain issue and you want to give your or propose a solution for it. So you use this pattern. And the grammatical signals we can use for this are due to, because of, to solve, as a solution, in response to, and etc. Take note, there are grammatical signals that can be applicable to 4 or 2 to 3 patterns of idea development. So each grammatical signal can change its function depending on the pattern of idea development. So we really have to know when to appropriately use it. Example, the student struggled with a lesson. So the teacher simplified the instructions. So can be used in the cause and effect pattern too. But here, it is used as in the problem solution pattern because it indicates or it separates the idea, which is the students struggle with this lesson. That's a problem. So the teacher simplified the instructions, and that's a solution. The student struggle with the lesson can also be a cause. But the next part is about a solution. So basically, the first part is problem rather than a cause because the pattern used is problem and solution. Okay. When to use grammatical signals in writing different patterns. So we already know how to use and when to use those patterns. Now, when to use the grammatical signals. First, we have at the beginning of a new idea or clause. Since in different patterns, we introduce new idea. So we use grammatical signals to introduce those new thought or to shift between different ideas, like transitioning from one event to the next in a narrative or from cause to effect. So we use it at the beginning to signal that there is a new thought, new perspective, or new idea. Next, when emphasizing relationships between ideas, whether you are showing cause and effect, comparing, or narrating events, grammatical signals should highlight the relationship between ideas. Why are they related? So, through grammatical signals, it highlights that those ideas are connected. The next is in the middle of sentences for clarity. So we insert the signal where it can logically separate two clauses or ideas, making the connection clearer to the reader. Always take note that the purpose of grammatical signals is to make the ideas logical and clear, easier to understand, organized. So we have to know when to insert those signals to logically separate two ideas. Okay, that's it. And when to use grammatical signals. And last is when transitioning between paragraphs. So we use signals at the beginning of a new paragraphs or sections to indicate a shift in topic, focus, or pattern of idea development. Take note, we cannot use transition signals in the very first sentence in the first paragraph of our essay or in our text because what is the connection in there? That's the very first part. So we have to know when to use those signals to transition at the beginning of a new paragraph. So example, you have the first paragraph, and then for the second paragraph, you use grammatical signals to indicate that it is an additional information or a counterclaim to that first claim that you stated. So we use it at the beginning of new paragraph or sections. And then lastly, why timing is important in using grammatical signals in a text. So, correct timing of signals ensures coherence. Grammatical signals must be placed at the right moments in writing to ensure the flow of ideas remains clear and logical. You cannot put grammatical signals wherever you want. You have to know when it should be and where it should be placed so that the ideas will remain clear and logical. And also, it is important to make transitions smooth. Imagine reading without grammatical signals, it can make the text fragmented or choppy and more difficult to understand. So, properly timed signals help readers follow the development of ideas without getting lost in the structure. So, those are the purpose of using grammatical signals in a right way and choosing the right pattern of idea development depending on what's your purpose, what's your goal in writing? Do you want to narrate? Do you want to highlight a problem or solution? So we really have to know when to use those patterns and grammatical signals to effectively write a text. So that's it for our lesson for today. So see you in our next class. And if you have any clarifications, you can ask me or just comment it down below.